Hello, my name is Luke, and I am the pretty boy, Tough Guy Carver. I'm a half Nishka, half Haida, 50-something Indigenous man. I've been a professional artist for the last 20 plus years. I was a professor for 10, and I've been an amateur game designer for the last 4. This is a weekly vlog where I'll play a solo board game and talk about my current art projects, the games I'm designing, some things I'm into, some past artworks, and my never-ending battle to regain my health. Hello there, my name's Luke, and this is the second episode of my series. So I thought I should show you guys my board game collection, which, I don't know how many games there are, to be honest. This isn't all of them. I've got like 5 up at my mom's cottage. Gonzo Index is a great game. Final Girls, I got the first 2 seasons. Arnak I haven't tried yet. Looking forward to it. Ella and Something Shiny I'm really excited about playing. Age Comics, another board game I'm excited about saying. I've played about half of these games. Twilight Inscription I'm really looking forward to playing as well. And that is a game mat for the game Expeditions. I bought it separately. Expeditions is a really great game. I'll feature that one of these weeks. It's an excellent solo mode. Looks beautiful. The cards are amazing. The art is amazing. Like, the card art is so great. So there's my collection. So I guess we can move on from there. So this week's episode is called Choose Life. And I came up with that after I saw how much I weighed. So I bought a scale and I weighed myself. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But it's a bit rough. So I'm hoping that this weekly vlog will sort of help me keep me in check. Because I really do need to keep in check because it's not that great. And I think the vlog will help me keep in check. Just keep me aware of things going on in my life. Things get a bit overwhelming and I can sort of get into the habit of not really doing anything, day after day and feeling like I'm doing stuff. But if I really look at it, I'm not really doing anything. I'm mostly just sleeping a lot and watching YouTube videos and stuff. So I really need to keep myself aware. So I'm a creative person, and one of the great things about being a creative person is that, the ideas are always flowing through my head, and I've been an artist for many years, so I can develop ideas in my head. I can visualize them, I can construct them, I can deconstruct them, and so on and so forth. But one of the drawbacks of being able to visualize projects over and over again is that at the end of the day, I can feel like I'm doing something when I'm really not. Because ideas are intangible. And if they stay intangible, then it's really only for me and for no one else. And for some artists, that's fine, they never show their work and the artwork never leaves, their small circle of friends, but I like to show my work. I'm not very social, so the way I communicate is through my art. And over the years, I've developed the skills needed to make the way things look in my mind, I can make them look like in real life with my hands. And so I can communicate very well through my work. And when I'm not doing that, I feel incomplete. And so I spend all this time just imagining things and visualize things and not making anything. It's not enough to make me feel good. So the game we're playing this week is Point City, designed by Molly Johnson and Robert Melvin. And the solo mode was designed by Sean Stankiewicz. It's a 1 to 4 player card game by Flat Out Games, and the art is done by Dylan Mangini. I really enjoy the simple but effective art by Mangini. I don't know how many of you are artists out there, but I feel like simple art is harder to pull off than complex art. You can fool people with bells and whistles, but with simple designs, everything is there for you to see. So, great job, Dylan. I like the solo game, and that's usually the way I play this game. I played it once with 3 players, and the other 2 weren't really board gamers, and so I wanted to play a quick game that was easy to learn. It went over very well, and it was really nice to share my hobby with family. The game takes around a half an hour to set up and play and take down. I sleeved the game, and so the insert wasn't really good for sleeved games. So I made a custom insert, and I just made it from some cardboard and some foam I had laying around. Nice thing about being an artist is I have lots of stuff laying around. And the solo game isn't really so much of a solo mode as it is a solitaire game. And what I mean by that is there's no separate deck of cards telling the automa what to do. It's just a deck taking away cards and putting time pressure on you. And the gameplay is a bit samey, but that's what solitaire games are really. And I enjoy playing solitaire. So yeah, it's good for me. Okay, so now we get to the bad news, or maybe the rough news. Anyway, my weight. Like I said, I bought a scale. Okay, so this is as bad as I thought. 275. If I don't start to take this seriously, I'm in some trouble. And I'm not joking. I mean, I'm over 50 years old, so this is pretty serious. So I really hope these weekend check-ins work because damn, 275. Okay, so the thing about 275 is that it's sort of right in the middle of what I expected. If you saw last week, I was hoping for 265. And I know that's a lot, but I knew it was quite a bit heavier than I was at my former max weight. But I was really scared that I would be 285. I think that's what I really sort of expected was 285. So 275 was like not my greatest fear, but it's pretty heavy. I mean, I'm only 5'8". And I guess with my height, you could say that I'm morbidly obese, but I don't really think I am. But I'll admit to you, it does hurt to do things like picking up things off the floor, walking, and doing things. I always feel like I'm ready to pull my abs. Like it's hard being this overweight. And so, and the reason I don't think I'm morbidly obese is because since I turned 30, the lightest I was 212. And honestly, at 212, I felt pretty great and I looked good. And so my goal for this year is gonna be to get down to 225. So that's 50 pounds. And then next year, I'll worry about the last 10 because I really want to get down to around 215. But so at this point, I'm not really going to worry too much about the food. I'm going to be careful and try and eat better, but I'm not going to really worry about it. I'm not going to really cut anything out. I mean, other than like trying to eat not as much takeout and try not to buy too many bad foods, especially ones that are high in calories. But for the next couple months, I really just got to get mobile. I need to be more active, exercising at home. I need to go on walks. I mean, part of my problem is my social anxiety, and I really don't want to go anywhere. And so basically, I'm just going to start slow and, like Bob says, I'll baby step my way to a solution. Okay, so here's my workout board. It says choose life. So basically, I have 10 exercises, and that's one. If I say I do one set, that would be one set. We'll be doing all those exercises. Right now, I'm at 3 sets with 12 repetitions each. So that's 120 reps per set. And basically, I do one set, and I'll put a little mark on the board. And so for each one, I'll do one mark. And I'm also doing walking treadmill on off days, so that'll be one mark. So and I'm trying to do either other day, 5 days a week. This week, I've only done the treadmill so far. So I think down the road when I start getting a bit more tight with my diet, I'll gamify it a little bit. And maybe have a reward every 20 marks. And basically it's like 4 marks, then I bundle it, put a mark across for the 5th. You've seen it before. Okay, so my food journal. So I'm keeping a food journal just so I can keep track of what I'm eating and look at any trends. So this is pretty standard from before. So basically Thursdays I had eggs and potatoes for breakfast and mini wheats for lunch, and then 2 KFC sandwiches, no fries. Friday I had raisin bran, toast, sandwich for lunch, and a couple cheeseburgers for dinner, homemade. Um, and Saturday I had mini wheats and toast and eggs and potatoes for lunch, and chicken. I baked some chicken and I had a side salad, and I had some sour gummies that night. And I'm not the kind of person who just is just gonna throw away food. I'm too cheap, so like I'm basically eating the food I have left, and I'll start buying healthier food as it goes along. And so on Sunday, I had bacon and eggs and hash browns and toast for breakfast. Then for lunch, I had dinner. Or for lunch, I had raisin bran. And then for dinner, I made chili and I had some garlic bread. And I had some sour gummies that night. Monday, I had oatmeal and toast with a small salad and chicken. Had some Ritz crackers and had sausages with rice. And then Tuesday, I had oatmeal and toast for breakfast, eggs and potatoes for lunch, and sausages and a little bit of the chili sauce on top of bread. It was really good. And I once had oatmeal for breakfast. I had ramen noodles for lunch, and then McDonald's and chips and dip for dinner. We had a mini painting and game night. My nephew came over. We played Castles and Burgundy. So yeah, it doesn't look good right now, but it'll get better. Believe me. You can see why I'm 275. Okay, so current art projects I'm working on. So I had a meeting with the curator on Tuesday, and it's for an art fair in the summertime. I'm not going to get into the festival at this time, maybe later, but this is the piece I'm going to be working on for the festival. I haven't really named it. The working title is Dreamer, and it's sort of about, or inspired by like dream states, about transitioning between worlds, or being in two worlds at once, or being in one world and witnessing another. On the forehead, there's a raven figure that is looking into the head of the main figure, or looking in the mind of the main figure. And the main figure, really only the top of his head is like sort of peeking out. And in the gallery, it'll look as though it's peeking out from a plinth. And it's sort of the idea that it's sort of looking out from another world. And I was thinking that, well, maybe the head of the figure is actually the raven. So the raven sticking its head into the mind of the main figure, but then the main figure's head is coming out of the plinth, and it's sort of like that's the raven. So it's sort of meta in that way. And the two figures on the sides, one is a halibut and the other one is a frog. And they're anthropomorphized, so they look sort of half human, half animal, reptile, and or fish, reptile and fish. And so the reason I chose the frog is because the frogs always live in two worlds. They can live underwater, they can live in the air. And halibuts are just sort of always in a state of change. Like they look very different from when they're first hatched to when they, become like bottom feeders. Yeah, and the figure on the back is that's going to be sort of painted, and it's going to look like a figure sort of floating in the cosmos. So that's going to be painted to look like stars and so on and so forth. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes. All this is new. I've never painted stars, cosmos, so it's gonna be a bit of work. But I'm excited about it. Okay, so these are the games that I'm working on. I did some playtesting with Neon Native Art Explosion, or NNE as I'm calling it. I did a five-handed game by myself, and it went really well. And even though I was doing all five players, the play was really fast, and some of the little extra rolls worked out well. And the only thing I didn't do was trading, because it was just me. Like trading between myself was a bit non-intuitive. When I do test with other people, I have to see if it's just me or if it actually is unintuitive. Other than that, it was great. I found myself looking forward to my next turn, and the way you rotate the pictures went really well. And for the images, so you're coloring in images. Only two of them got finished, but I think I'm fine with that. And I think originally I was going to do different. I thought about doing different, like for a six-player game, maybe there'd only be 12 spaces to color in, and maybe for a three-player game there'd be like 20. But I think I'll stick with 15 for each one, and just sort of play around with page count, because only two were done. So maybe if you played with six players, like maybe four would get done. I think that's fine because there's 12 images out there. Yeah, and like I said, I was hoping to get 4 players tested as well, and maybe 3 players, but that didn't happen. So I'll do that next week, and yeah, I'll let you know how it went. So games I played this week, I played Castles of Burgundy a few times, mostly solo, but I also played it with my nephew last night when he came over. He enjoys painting minis, so I painted minis with him for a bit. And then we played a game of Castles of Burgundy. He seemed to really like it. It's a really easy teach. You can teach as you play, so pretty excited about that. I also played Wingspan Asia this week, mostly inspired by the announcement of Wormspan. I played Expeditions the other day. One of my favorite games. I really enjoyed it. Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. I played that this week as well. I love that game. And of course, Point City. I played a practice game Tuesday night because I know I'd be teaching here. And Woodcraft, I sort of played. It's a new game. I'm just learning it. So I watched a few videos and I played a bit. I got through about half a game before I put it away because it just wasn't. I wasn't doing everything right. So I'll have to watch a few more videos and play it a bit more because it seems like a really cool game. And I'm a wood carver, so it really interests me. And so I'm excited to learn it and play it. Definitely. And the channels I watched this week, I watched Foster the Meeple. They had a top 50 list, but they only did 40 to, or 50 down to 40, which is annoying. I wish they dropped the other ones. I watched Tower as well. Again, I mostly watched them for the top 10s because I find them entertaining. And mostly the reason I watched because I watched a Woodcraft video from theirs and a few other Woodcraft videos, like I said. I'll get better at keeping a record of the channels I've watched, especially when I'm learning new games. Like, I don't really learn games by reading the rule book and then playing the game. I like to, put everything out, watch some videos, and then sort of start playing the game and just use the rule book for reference. It works for me. My first couple plays really usually aren't that great just because of that, but whatever, it works. And as you watch my videos, I'm probably missing things in my solo play, but I have fun, so that's all that really matters. And so this week, my Apple TV reset my YouTube app, which totally sucks because that means I have to retrain the algorithm. So I've sort of had to search channels I like and watch a video, and then that way it comes up in my recommended feed. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. This week, I watched a couple videos by Board Game Ramblings. It's kind of weird because I don't really have the same taste in games as them, and I don't really care for negative reviews. I don't know, I just don't like them. They do them. But I find them really appealing as a duo, and I like the dynamic they have between them, just similar to Foster the Meeple. They got Moxie. That's why I like them. I also watched the Brothers Murph this week, and I watched a deck building video by Adam from Wales. I am currently on the other, besides working on my stuff, like I talked about visualizing earlier, I'm visualizing a deck building game. It's about fishing, hunting and gathering, and then processing the meats, seafoods, or etc. And then you would donate some food to elders, sell the others to buyers. And so there'll be 2 decks in the game. You have to build them both. You have to be built, and there's also an engine building aspect and a fishing aspect, which I'm excited to try out. And so each aspect would be fairly simple on its own, but when you put them all together, it gets to be complex. And so there's really going to need to be a lot of balance, so I really need to figure all that out. So I'm going to have to make a prototype as soon as I can with really sort of the simplest version of what I can do because I've never made anything like this before. So, and it's going to be a pure card game. No tokens, no anything. It's going to be all cards. It's going to be like 4 different, sizes of cards, but so it's going to be a big card game, but it's going to be cards. And it would be a 1 to 4 player game. And the nice part about that is I'll be able to test it because it'll be a solo game as well. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, but I can't get ahead of myself. I mean, I got the print and play game I want to drop on Kickstarter in the next few months. I've got the Ravens, the trick-taking game I've been working on for years. So I really need to finish that stuff before I move on to other things. And I have about 4 other games in the queue, so I do have time to develop this game. And it's a game I've been thinking about a while. I just haven't been able to put it together into what it's actually going to look like. And so I'll move on to media. What did I watch this week? I binge watched the new season of What If by Marvel. and I enjoyed it. I don't think it was good as last season, but it's pretty good. And I feel like with Marvel, they're sort of always playing it safe these days, and there's lack of continuity between series, which is really annoying. But they still do quality content. Yeah, and I really like Haley Atwell. I think she's just a beautiful woman, so it's nice to see her character come back. Even in cartoon form, she's excellent. And so for next week, I think I'm probably gonna watch Echo. That's the new Marvel series. And if you can't tell, I'm Indigenous, so that has sort of an extra appeal for me. And so my goals for next week. My goals are to continue working on my Dreamer mask. Like I said, that's the working title. And I want to do some more. I want to do some tests for painting, like a night sky. Like I want to have like thinking black with like purple and blue and sort of a really sort of bright night sky for the back of the mask. But I need to figure all that out because I've never painted anything like that, and painting isn't really my strength. Carving is. And so, and I'll be honest, the whole mask needs work. There's a lot of detail that needs to be put into it, and a lot of decisions need to be made. So I'll start by sharpening my knives, as they say. And as far as game designs, I'll continue to test the print and play game. And I need to make more art for the Ravens trick taking game because every card in that game is going to be different. Originally, I was going to do like the pip cards all the same, like the 1 to the 10 would just be, the art would be the same, but it would just have like the different sort of pips on there. But I think I'm actually going to go with completely different cards for each. So the whole deck, 78 cards, every card will be unique. And so yeah, and as far as exercise, I need to do more exercising. I'm probably gonna, exercise maybe 3 times this week, or maybe even just two. And next week I want to try and do the full week. And I want to try and make sure I go for a walk at least a couple days a week. For my health, but also for my mental health. I definitely need to eat better and do a better job of communicating with people online. There's a lot of emails I don't answer, and my banking and paying my bills and stuff. I need to do everything, on time. Yeah. So final score. The Otoma scored 33 and I scored 38. I won. Woo! So, like I said, it's a solitaire game, so there's really a lot of luck that you're sort of mitigating throughout the game. I didn't optimize my gameplay, and the Otoma got quite a few civic buildings, which actually gave it quite a few points, and that's why I was worried at the end. When it got 2 at the end, I was worried I would lose. So next up, let's take a look at the projects from the past. So this piece is called They Squawk Like an Eagle. It's based on an old Haida story. And I can't remember the exact story, but it involves a spear and love and otter woman. And so I started this mask quite a few years ago. I started at the Banff Center for the Arts. And basically, I felt like it was finished, but then when I looked at it again, I knew it needed more work. So I actually ended up taking it out of a box and finishing it last year. And it was in a show at Le Guilde in Montreal. Yeah, so that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you'll tune in next week's. Thanks.